Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into To Kill a Mockingbird, a story that kicks off with a broken arm and ends with a shattered illusion. It's this incredible journey from the simple world of childhood to a much harsher reality. And believe it or not, it all starts with a single question. So our story begins right where it ends. This is the novel's very first line, and it sets up the central mystery for everything that comes after it. How did Jem break his arm? To answer that, we've got to go back in time, to a small, tired old town in Alabama. We see this world through the eyes of Scout Finch, along with her brother Jem and their summer friend Dill. And in the slow, sticky heat of Maycomb, their childhood days are pretty much dominated by one terrifying obsession: the phantom who lives next door. And here you can see this massive gap between what people think and what's actually real. The kids' games all revolve around daring Boo Radley, a man they have literally never seen, to just come out of his house. Town gossip paints him as this monster who eats squirrels and stabs his parents. But quietly, another story is unfolding, one of these small, anonymous kindnesses that hint at the true man inside. A knothole on the Radley property becomes their own secret post office. But these aren't just random trinkets. I mean, look at this list. The soap dolls, they're carved to look just like Scout and Jem. It's the first real, tangible proof they have that the so-called phantom in the house isn't a monster at all, but maybe, just maybe, a friend they haven't met yet. But that childish fear of a neighborhood phantom, well, it soon starts to give way to the much more complex dangers of the adult world. As the town's tensions begin to rise, the children's father, Atticus Finch, is forced to teach them a different, much harder lesson: what real courage actually looks like. This right here, this is the moral compass for the entire story. Atticus completely redefines courage for his children. It isn't about physical strength or, a man with a gun. It's about fighting for what's right, especially when you know from the very start that you're going to lose. They first see this kind of courage in their neighbor, Mrs. DuBose, a woman they absolutely despise for her bitter insults. What they don't know is that she's fighting a private war against morphine addiction, and she is determined to die free. Her decision to see that battle through, no matter the pain, becomes their first real lesson in what bravery is. And pretty soon, Atticus himself becomes the ultimate example. He agrees to defend Tom Robinson, a black man who has been falsely accused of raping a white woman. Now, given the deep-seated prejudice of Maycomb, Atticus knows an acquittal is impossible. He is licked before he begins, but he begins anyway. So the trial of Tom Robinson quickly becomes the story's centerpiece. But it's really not just one man who's on trial here. It's the entire town of Maycomb and its conscience. In that courtroom, Atticus just systematically dismantles the accusation with cold, hard logic. Mayella was beaten on the right side of her face, which suggests a left-handed attacker. Her father, Bob Ewell, is then shown to be left-handed. And then comes the final irrefutable fact. Tom Robinson's left arm is useless, crippled in an accident years ago. It was physically impossible for him to have committed the crime. In his closing statement, Atticus appeals not to prejudice, but to principle. He asks the jury to look past the unwritten codes of their town and to uphold one of America's highest ideals: that in a courtroom, justice is blind, and all men are truly created equal. But it's not enough. In the court of Maycomb, the unspoken code is crystal clear. The word of a dishonest white man will always outweigh the truth from an honest black man. The guilty verdict, well, it was a foregone conclusion. For Jem and Scout, the verdict isn't just some legal outcome. It's a profound betrayal. The world they thought was fair and just completely shatters right before their eyes, and the trial's aftermath is about to put them in immediate danger. So even though he won the case, Bob Ewell feels utterly humiliated. He believes Atticus destroyed what little credibility he had. Furious, Ewell publicly vows revenge, and he makes it clear he's targeting not just Atticus, but his children too. And then, the injustice becomes absolute. Having lost all hope in the legal system, Tom Robinson makes a desperate run for freedom from prison. He is shot 17 times. For Jem and Scout, his death seals their loss of innocence forever. And now, all the threads of the story, the childhood phantom, the lessons in courage, and the violent hatred stirred up by the trial, they are all about to converge on one dark, fateful Halloween night. So Jem and Scout are walking home alone from a school pageant. The night is pitch black, silent, and then, suddenly, they are not alone. There's a sound, a shuffle in the darkness, and then a violent ambush.
A desperate struggle just erupts in the dark. Scout is trapped inside this bulky costume she's wearing, so she can't see a thing. Then she hears a crack, and she realizes Jem's arm has just been broken.
It's Bobby Ewell, and he was making good on his threat. He didn't just come to scare them, he came to kill them. But someone else was there in the darkness. A fourth person fought off Ewell and then carried the unconscious Jem all the way home. Who was it? Back in Jem's bedroom, Scout's eyes adjust to the light. She sees a pale, shy man standing in the corner, and she recognizes the hero who has been watching over them all along. This is it. The answer to how Jem's arm was broken. The man they feared as a monster was really their guardian angel. Arthur Boo Radley, emerging from his self-imposed prison to save them, finally brings the story full circle. As Scout walks Arthur Radley home, she stands on his porch and she sees the world as he has seen it for years. She sees her town, her father, and even herself, all from his perspective. And in that single moment, her journey from innocence to experience is complete. She finally understands. Atticus once told Scout, "You can never understand a person until you climb into their skin and walk around in it." That is the story's most vital challenge, and it's the question we're left with today. How often do we truly try to see the world through someone else's eyes?